Good morning, YouTube. So it's Thursday. I think it's Thursday. I just looked at the day and date, and it's moments like that I realize how bad my short-term memory is. Because I forgot already. Yes, Thursday, July 17th, 2025, 7:02 a.m. And quite a lot has happened since my last super long video, which I was going to post this morning and I didn't post. So is it on my channel? Is it not on my channel? I don't know. There's such a disconnect between me shooting these and me posting these, and I almost never edit them anymore. So it just kind of is what it is. Just walking from Circle K over there. That is such a crazy, sketchy Circle K. And I've done some shifts there when I was doing Shift Smart. In fact, I met a woman, very dark-skinned gal. It was when we started talking about doing Shift Smart. She said they don't do 4-hour shifts anymore. That they're just hour-and-a-half shifts for $30, which is actually more than they used to pay in terms of hourly. But yeah, an hour-and-a-half shift hardly seems worth the effort to even go do it. I got a Department of Corrections cleanup crew going on here. Aggressor flower. Well, the cover is missing on that plant. Which now makes it a public phone charging station. Look, I could probably charge my car from that. Speaking of charging my car, it's down at the ChargePoint Fast Charger, Arizona Department of Administration. This is the first time I've got on it in a while. It just seems like every time I roll by there, it's in use. And yeah, they've increased the price on it about 7 times what it used to be. Which sounds like an outrageous increase, and it's a huge increase, but it's kind of a testament to how ridiculously underpriced it was, because even at 7 times what it was before, it's still hands down the cheapest fast charger in the valley by a large margin. So last I checked, my car was at 60-some%, so it should be pretty close to the Creed Siesta by the time I get back to it. So much has happened since the last video I did. Not even sure where to start. It's man, the last couple of days I've been struggling way more than normal with depression. And in fact, I don't want to go into too much details as far as what I did in the early morning. Not yesterday, the day before would have been early morning. Man, another one of these loud pressure washers. Oh, I got to see a pressure washer truck explode. That was exciting. Like literally explode. Not the truck, by the way. It was the pressure washer attachment thing. That was pretty wild. Oh shit, they're dropping tree branches. I need to get the hell off this sidewalk. Not a good place to be walking right now. I come over here and walk. God, this is a bus lane. Not a great place to be walking into. Man, if I'd have known all this was going on, I'd have walked on the other side of the building where it's quieter. Oh, looks like they got something going on in the park across the street. Maybe I'll walk over there. Yeah, why the hell not? There's always some interesting stuff going on at this park. I feel like the last time I came through here, and I'm not even sure if I vlogged that time or not, there was some kind of classic car show going on. And of course, I caught the tail end of it. I saw people just basically taking their nicely restored classic cars and leaving with them. Yeah, they had them parked inside that round area. I'm not sure what the heck it is, but I didn't know you could get cars down there. First time I've ever seen anything in there. So there's something going on here today. It's early in the morning, so whatever it is, it's probably setting up, or they're probably just setting up, not even started yet. So yeah, I don't really want to go into what I did, but it was I think it would fall under the category of reckless, potentially self-deleting behavior. And fortunately nobody was hurt, and I shouldn't let myself get like that, but let's just say it was a bad night. It started as a good night, and it just turned into a bad night. The ups and downs lately have been pretty extreme. Hey, what's going on here today?
There's a good trouble march. It's only for like an hour.
Huh, okay.
So.
What kind of protest? We got some fancy pins here.
Some hats too, flags, fans.
Good times. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, wow. Good times. Yeah. Glad that hasn't started yet, because definitely not my vibe. But I gotta admit, I'm very amused by the hats that say "pussy power." Oh, and those are two words that kind of describe what's been causing all of well, I won't say all, but a good portion of my depression. I love how the state seal is incorporated into this here. That's neat. Yeah, this is where all the classic cars were parked, and they all actually drove out that sidewalk there, which, I mean, yeah, it's wide enough to drive a car through. I never thought I'd see the cars drive through it. That was kind of wild. But, gosh, where do we even start trying to explain all that's been going on? That's led to some really good times and just some really crushingly depressing times. And things are as bad as ever with Priscilla, and she's not taking care of certain needs that I have that are borderline crucial for me keeping my sanity. So yeah, resulting in problems with my sanity. Last text message we get, well, actually the last text messages we had about it were ridiculous, but the one I sent her was when I was in probably the worst state of mind ever and probably ill-advised, and her response to it was, crap, whatever. But well, the messages we've been having prior to that, they were a little more positive, but it all ultimately went to the same conclusion of, she doesn't, I don't know what the hell she thinks she wants. She can't really, she just doesn't seem capable of expressing it in any kind of way that makes any sense to me. I feel like I'm expressing what I want pretty clearly, and the only thing I'm getting from her is no, so, whatever. And consequently, I absolutely couldn't be more ready to move on. I just don't really have anyone to move on to. At least not any woman to move on to. I actually met a guy that would probably be down for that sort of thing, but yeah, that's Yeah, that's kind of a hard no for me, dog. I mean, he's a nice guy. I enjoy spending time with him, but yeah, what what I think he's hoping that'll turn into is that's it's not going to work. He doesn't have the right body parts for me, unfortunately. Yeah. Then there's the Sherry issue. Sherry from work. I feel like I've mentioned her before. There's, and maybe it's just in my head, but I don't think it is. There's definitely a level of sexual tension between her and I, and she's really pushy and headstrong. I kind of am at work, but not in the same way she is. Like, I'm really particular about the way things are at work and trying to have everything arranged a certain way and done a certain way, and there's a lot of things that bother me, and of course she insists on doing some of those things, and then she'll try to push me around, tell me what I need to do when I need to do, and I'm like, I had one time she upset me so much at work that I was ready to punch her in the mouth, and I just stormed over to the, I forget what I said, but I kind of blew up. Not like I blew up when I freaked out over the palletizing, where I blew up at anybody specifically. I was close to blowing up at her, and I just, that's not a good thing. It's like, considering some of the meltdowns I've had at work, it's kind of miraculous I still have my job. And but at one point I went up to leadership, but I was very exasperated. I'm just like, and this is a few weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, somebody, I said something along the lines of, somebody needs to let Sherry know that she is in no shape, way, or form my supervisor or my boss, and she really needs to shut the fuck up, because I'm about to fucking lose it. I think that's what I said. Sounds about my speed. Anyway, and to be fair, management resolved that. I work my ass off. I'm very, very well loved for the most part, especially by management in fulfillment. I'm just really good at solving problems, and I tend to have my head wrapped so completely about what is going on everywhere all the time, in terms of what meals we're running low on, which line has them and where, and I'll take the initiative where if something is running out, I'm not just focused on, oh, my line, I got to get my line done, that's my line. In my head, I'm trying to keep every line that's running going. So you consequently say, if I'm trying to find a meal for my line and I go to another line and they're out or nearly out as well, I'm certainly not taking what they have and causing them to run out sooner. I'd roll to my line and hope they don't notice me walking off with it. And there's so many people at work that do that crap. It's just ridiculous. I'm on the other way around. Now, I see that they're low on it. I'm making a mental note, and then I'm on to the next location. So by the time I do find some, I'm making sure I leave enough for that location that I find it at, and then try to, where are we at here? Charging at 30 kilowatts. Oh, we're at 93%. So Korean siesta's already come and gone, and car is still charging. Yay. So yeah, at this point, I may as well just keep on charging as long as I'm getting around 30 kilowatts of power, which is about half what this charger puts out, but it's still a reasonably okay charging rate. This place charges by the kilowatt hour now instead of by the hour. When it charged by the hour, I would usually want to just bail at this point, just because it ended up being more expensive. Although in the grand scheme of things, like what they charge by hour, even at 30 kilowatts, it was still the best deal going. So sometimes I'd be like, whatever, sit here, camp out. But in fact, let me open up my God, it is hot and humid today. I mean, it's not hot. It's actually the coolest it's been in quite a while, but it's It's muggy out today. Put up charge point. It says I've got an estimated of 221 miles put on this charging session. And if you all can see my charge curve there. By the way, that estimate is at like 4 miles per kilowatt hour. I'm not quite sure where they get that from, but so it's definitely overestimating how many miles I'm gonna get out of this charge. But as you can see, I started my charge around 6:12. Been charging an hour and 2 minutes. And it just went steadily up to the point where it kind of nearly tanked, but didn't stop charging. And that's the phenomenon that's in online circles around eGMP cars referred to as the Korean siesta. All of the eGMP cars do it. The EV9, the EV6, the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6. I forget what the heck the there's also a Genesis that's based on the same platform. It has leather seats. Woohoo! I am so not a fan of leather seats. Yeah, I mean, it's still a great deal. I forget what they're charging per kilowatt hour here, but I'm at $8.45, and I've got over 56 kilowatts on here. And yeah, that's super inexpensive for a public fast charger, even one as slow as this. But this charge before would have been like $1 and change. I miss those days. That was very convenient. But as you see, it's kind of leveling off at about 30 kilowatt hours. The app's giving me a more accurate reading, 29.45 kilowatts. I'm getting right now. Oh my God, it is stuffy in here. Turn that down, make sure I don't get a content match. Oh, speaking of content matches, completely separate topic. One of my favorite YouTube channels is really struggling with that. Professor of Rock is constantly getting his videos blocked for featuring clips, audio clips in his videos. His videos aren't going to be the same without the audio clips in them, but that's just kind of reality of YouTube. I hope he resolves that. I know that another YouTuber I'm quite fond of, Rick Beato, has had the same struggle as well. And I really believe both of them, the way that they are using the music within their content, falls under the legal definition of fair use. But the way the whole automated content match system works in YouTube, it just doesn't matter. Like, they just, I mean, you can fight the stuff, but in the meantime, your content gets blocked and your channel goes to shit. So it's, I don't know. I really wish YouTube wasn't so authoritarian and always wanting to err on the side of rights holders. It is frustrating. I mean, I've had some kind of cool videos blocked sometimes just because I walked by somewhere and there was some background music playing and it content matched. And it would be nice if y'all could hear Brad, Sweet Al George playing in the background right now. But there's just too much of a risk of a content match, so I turned it down. I lost my train of thought. So, charging. Sherry. I was talking about Sherry. Yeah, I'm just like, she just needs to fucking shut the fuck up and leave me alone. That's what I said. And I said, all right, and they're like, I said, I just need to go in the break room and sit down and drink a little soda and calm the fuck down. I said, I'm way too upset and riled up. She just, but and they moved her to a different line, or maybe they moved me to a different line. To be honest, I forget. But they did. They just, like, one of the higher up managers, not like a high up manager, but like one of the higher level leads, like a lead that's not just doing an individual line, but kind of a whole room lead. I still don't understand the whole management structure in there. It's baffling to me. But they, like, when I came back, they're just like, look, we separate you guys because you both work really hard, but yeah, we don't But yeah. And then she had come over to me and she goes, you know, I don't care what Sherry says. You're one of the hardest working people in here. She goes, your work ethic is top notch. It doesn't even matter where you're at. Like, you're probably the fastest person we have in here. The fastest, most self-reliant person we have in here for doing boxes. And since you've started doing replenishing and running, like you've kind of taken that to another level as well. And anyway, it happened again. Last shift I worked. It didn't help that I was super tired. And part of it was I didn't get much sleep. And that was as a result of the Denny's thing I talked about. So one of my coworkers, I've been driving him home on the regular. And he's been paying me for it, which is good. I mean, one day he bought me just like a $12 burrito, which that's payment enough, thank you. God knows I don't eat well enough most of the time. It's not that I don't have the money to eat. I just am so bothered by how expensive fast food prices are now that I just generally can't bring myself to pay it. And my kitchen's not really any place where food can be prepared at this point. So yeah, I'm taking it up to 100 today. That's awesome. You know, and normally I wouldn't do this, just for the record, because I don't like to be the dick that's holding up the charger, charging slow. But as you see, there's nobody waiting for this charger. If somebody rolled up in an EV, I would stop my session right now. But since, oddly enough, there's nobody waiting for this charger, I'm gonna ride it all the way to 100 until the charger stops itself. Speaking of the charger and starting and stopping, my ChargePoint key fob has been not working very well the last few days. I couldn't get it to work here, which is no problem. I mean, I already had like this charger opened inside the app, so I just, you know, when the key fob didn't work, I just tapped the screen in the app and started it. But one of the big deals on the key fob is there's a lot of chargers where the operator of the charger, and it's all level 2 stuff, it's not fast chargers like this, but level 2 chargers where the operator of the charger has chosen to leave it hidden, so it's not displayed as a public charger in the app. But if you're a ChargePoint member and you've got a ChargePoint tap card, you can still use it. And I use a lot of those. And only once have I been asked to leave one and told it was not public. I'm like, well, it's listed in apps, so you need to put up, if it's only for employees and patients, you need to put up a sign. And I don't know if they have, and I haven't gone back there since. I've thought about it, though. I have. And honestly, if I was just sitting in my car versus walking, I really had to pee. I like walked around the building and walked into an area where it's kind of obscured and took a leak. I don't even think it was on their property. I think it was more like on a I-10 easement adjacent to their property. But at any rate, kind of did that and took some pictures of it to flesh out the, the listing on. Well, that's odd. It's no longer showing. Wait, it looks like there's something missing there. It's slowed down. It's down to 19 kilowatts. It still says 99. 3 minutes to 100%. Well, let's watch it finish. Oh, and that screen's on. It's kind of neat seeing 99 there. I don't leave that screen on very often. I hate that every time I turn on the car, it goes to that screen versus whatever screen I had it on previously. And that's something I've seen in the Kia EV6 forum that a lot of other people are not fond of as well. It's like, why when I turn the car on, it's not on the screens that I left it on? Why doesn't it remember that? I don't know. That's just how it's programmed. It's annoying. And to be fair, like this screen, I think is a nice summary of stuff. I mean, we got the location where we're at, Phoenix, Arizona, weather 81 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. Whoops. As I take it off that screen. How do I get back there? There we go. I think probably the one thing that bothers me about this screen, but it's just me being silly, but I hate the fact that the car that's so prominently displayed in the middle of it looks like a Kia Niro as opposed to an EV6. Like if that car there look like that car there, I think I'd feel a lot different about that screen. Just saying. And of course that one there kind of taunts me because it's in the white that I wanted my car to be as opposed to the pearl black that I got. I love the pearl black. It's a love-hate thing with me and the pearl black. I love it. I think it looks gorgeous. Very difficult to keep clean. So there's that. But the worst thing is just in the Phoenix heat, which, you know, middle of July right now, it gets so hot in this car when I park it somewhere. I mean, I got a really good sunshade there. I've been pretty diligent about remembering to put it in, but still. So we're slowed way down, 15 kilowatts. Again, like nobody coming, waiting for the charger. There's a minute, so it's gonna stop any second now. I did call ChargePoint about my key fob not working. Talked to a customer service representative that I very distinctly remember talking to a good 6-7 months ago when I first called them for some help when I first started using their charging network. And she's got such a strong Indian, real sweet woman, but such a strong Indian accent. I really struggle to understand her. And in fact, the only two people I've ever talked to, and it just stopped. Gasometer saying 285 miles. Yeah, the air conditioner's eating into my range, so the days of it saying 300 and some miles are over until I can get to where I don't use the air conditioning all the time. Oh, that's... I never really looked at the CHAdeMO plug before. It's kind of weird how it says OK on there like that. This is a new plug, by the way. I don't think I've mentioned that. This charger was out of commission for about 2 months because the old, like as you can see, this is like all shiny and new. The old one that was here, it had come apart like right there, and the cord was coming out. It was all frayed and stuff. So potentially dangerous when you consider that thing. I think when I'm using it, it's pumping 800 volts DC. like, yeah, that would hurt. Well, kind of neat seeing it at 100%. I don't see that very often. Let's see what I was charged for this charging session. My final for this one. No, that is not it. So $9.19. I forget how low my battery was, but I want to say it was down to about 20%. So not completely empty, but certainly empty-ish. So in fact, I got 61.25 kilowatt hours. I always forget how big my battery is, but I just read on something on Google Maps. I was actually putting it on Google Maps for recommendations, looking to see how long it would take me to drive to Ray, Colorado. I don't know that I'm ready to talk about what that's about, but and I wanted to see if it was also including, you know, time to stop and charging spots and stuff like that. I'm not even sure if Google does that or not, but it does recommend routes based on efficiency of specific cars, and I went in and it did have it selected that I have an EV, but it didn't say specifically, and then I went to select the specific EV, and anyway, I did find it, and this, I have a 77 kilowatt battery, so I put in 61.2 of a potential 77. So yeah, that's I mean, you're certainly not getting a nearly full tank of gas for $9.19. So the days of completely charging it for $1.20 are over, but still $10 as much as I drive is pretty awesome. All right, let's open up Roadie. I don't think I have any place else I need to be right now. I should head home, but so hopefully getting rid of the bins today. That's been a problem again. And anything happening on Roadie? Things have been getting better on Roadie. I've been doing some luggage delivery in the morning. I don't see. Wow, and it's 7:30 in the morning. Usually I see Roadie blowing up at, about 6 a.m. Like I usually get stuff early in the morning on Roadie going out of the airport, and now it actually lets me get those. Before it would just say it was deciding if it was going to let me have it, and then I'd never let me have it for hours. It was really frustrating. And I think it was a matter, 36 deliveries, $82. 58 miles. Available gig, Roadie XD, 36 deliveries, 58 miles, 5 hours and 34 minutes for $82. 1 of 10. 2 of 10, 6 hours and 46 minutes. So apparently this is like their warehouse where they're doing stuff. Well, these are good routes. However, do I want to be busy for this many hours? You know, this is the first time I've seen this, by the way, where there's multiple routes available. 53 deliveries, 17 deliveries. Actually, hang on. 17 deliveries sounds just up my alley. So we got 36, 39, 25, 58, 22, 17. About 3 hours of driving. This, 2 pounds, 28, weight. And it's all in the fountain. Fuck yeah, let's get this going on. Wow, this sounds very, very similar to, say, Jitsu. So I'm not going to put an offer on any of the others. I need to keep my eyes open on that. Oh, and I should go park someplace else. Is my air conditioning on? Because it sure didn't feel like it. It is 72 degrees. This doesn't feel like it's blowing as cold as it normally does. Oh, probably because it's shift to P to start vehicle. Oh, it just popped up to 302 miles on the gasometer. Did y'all see that? And right back to 288, 283, 279. It's calculating. Oh my goodness, air conditioning is on. How much power is that going to use? Oh, it's hot. It's going to use a lot. I need to find myself someplace else to park. So anyways, I was saying, I need to find somewhere to go clean my windshield. It's filthy. No parking ends. Oh, wow. Yeah, now there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. It was funny when I clicked on that, like it showed a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm sure people are grabbing those. So yeah, it says Roadie XD. I'm guessing that's like their warehouse where it's something comparable to Jitsu. And I'm not doing any more Jitsu anymore after that last issue. Jitsu or Deliver It. Deliver It just seems to have disappeared. I don't even think they exist anymore. So what's left here? 17 offer pending. 40 deliveries. Estimated 55 hours. Yeah, I can't stay busy for 5 hours. 30 deliveries. Estimating 5 hours going to Santan. That's a hard pass. Yeah, I'm just going to stay on that one that I bid on, and I get the feeling it's not coming my way. God, everything else is like farther than I feel like going. There's definitely work on there. I've noticed that it usually gets cracking around 6:30 in the morning. So I mean, it's 7:30 now, so it's popping. Before I complain, it's like there's nothing on this platform, but it's just a matter of there is stuff on the platform. It's the platform's popping when I'm asleep, and the pay is kind of crappy. And that seems to be kind of universal of all these driving gigs. I had one I posted on my Snapchat where it was like 100 items, and everybody was refusing to do it. It was up at a Walmart, but it was 100 items and literally 2,000 pounds worth of merchandise. And, for like $10. They were just paying on the mileage. They weren't paying based on the items you'd have to load in your car. And I'm sure everybody looked at that and was like, oh, fuck no. But yeah, I posted it on my Snapchat with the added text of, nope. Oh, fire truck. Damn, my seatbelt is twisted. Twisted seatbelts always mess me up. Oh, I got a Waymo robot right behind me. See it in the rearview mirror there. And it pulled over and stopped all by itself for the fire truck. That's a good thing. Debating is whether I should go to Oh no! The Church's Chicken on Grand Avenue is closed. That makes me very sad. It's like the end of an era right there. Around that thing. I was telling the story about Sherry. Got distracted talking about what I'm doing today, which is probably more relevant anyway. I was thinking that was another EV6, but no, it's just something with similar lines. Why are you coming to a stop? Is there this many cars in this lane and not the other lanes? Very well might be. Oh, yes, there is. That's odd. I always find it weird when one lane gets all backed up and the other two lanes are just empty. Why? I mean, I'm guessing the why right now is people trying to turn right and get onto I-10, but that guy left plenty of a gap for me to just slide in. Not even remotely cut him off. Oh yeah, everybody getting on I-10. Maybe others think I'm a dick for the way I cut in front, but I mean, that truck is way behind me, so. And to be fair, there's no way I would have cut a vehicle off. Like, if I couldn't easily slide in to change lanes to get on the freeway, I would have just gone on up to McDowell. Dean Lindsay Memorial Tunnel. I have never noticed that sign before. My windshield is filthy. Actually, I think what I need to do right now is head home. So Benz, I'm supposed to be getting rid of the Benz today. I talked to Rob about it. I did actually find a Mercedes, well, actually a European vehicle specialist that specializes in Mercedes. I went by this other spot that was advertised on Google, like called All Mercedes Wrecking or something. And then when I got there, like, it had a different name. Although the listing on Google, Google Maps for All Mercedes Wrecking is still there. I don't know what's up with all this traffic on I-10, but I've had about enough of it. I got on, I go to the location and it's got a different name. And I've seen in the past where sometimes junkyards will operate under a few different names, which is, to me, seems like a really shady business practice, but whatever. And anyway, I went in and I had asked the guy that was inside in the office about it. So I'm looking to get rid of a 2001 C240. Is this still All Mercedes? And the guy goes, oh, All Mercedes shut down over 10 years ago. I'm like, wow, interesting, because it's still listed on Google. That's how I landed here. And then I asked him if he could recommend another place, and he mentioned a place that was like all European. And I went there and encountered the second gorgeous black woman that I've encountered in the week, named Sonia. Just wanted to stay and talk to her. She had a strong African accent. She was very sweet. Came out, looked over my car, and apparently she really wants to buy a car. She's like, oh, buy your Honda Civic. I'm like, you don't want my Honda Civic. like every car I own other than this one is trouble. They are not good cars. They are junk. She's like, you need to get. She's like, how many cars do you have? And I'm giving her the whole list. She's like, you need to get rid of those cars. I'm like, yeah. So just sell them. Like, it's not that easy. People want to buy these cars. Nobody wants, people want to buy cars that they can go and start up, that are nice cars that they can drive. These are not drivable cars. Nobody wants to, plus they're, with the exception of the Benz, they're all wherever Rob has them stored. So, I mean, yeah, I don't have time to fuck with that stuff. I got to move the Benz though. Not yesterday, but the day before. So as I mentioned, I got into a Sherry at work again, and that was bad. He separated us, but there's the underlying sexual tension between us. Now, the day before we worked together so well, like probably better than I've worked with any single person there, ironically. We were together working on another line where there were a bunch of other people, and then at one point I walked through line 9. I can't remember if I was going there to see if they had a meal that 6 and 7 were low on. 6 and 7 is the same replenishment area. I don't know if I was going by there to check on something that 6 and 7 were low on, or if I had picked up something and I remembered that they were low, so I wanted to just drop some real quick on my way back to 6 and 7. But anyway, the woman who I think is really into me, to be honest, but I just don't find her in the slightest bit attractive. Like, she's only 42, so quite a bit younger than me. Totally the age group of a woman I'd like to hook up with, but she, to my eyes, looks older than me, and that's a hard no for me. But she's real sweet. But yeah, she was on my line. In fact, she was one of the replenishers on my line, on line 9. The last video was talking about how we were all understaffed. Not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, we were all crazy understaffed, and it wasn't so much understaffed. We were just completely staffed by almost a whole bunch of first day work while people, and it was her first day, and yeah, she was on line 9 when I was primarily leading 9, but also kind of leading 7. And anyway, I get there and she's really struggling, trying to keep up. And I didn't see anybody helping her in any shape, way, or form. So I just went in there and started, like, if somebody's struggling with replenishing a line, I'm so ridiculously fast at it. If somebody's struggling, like, now, if there's a whole bunch of people that are doing it together, like, I'm going to struggle because they're just in my fucking way. And it seems like the majority of the people will have a tendency to just, like, replenish just the individual meals. They won't pay attention to the ones that are in crates where the crates need pushed forward. They'll just ignore those, which is stupid because those are the meals that are the busiest. And then they'll be replenishing them, like I've been calling it getting your steps in, just by walking back and forth and grabbing 4 or 5 meals or an armload of meals, and half the time they drop them on the goddamn floor, and which is extra frustrating to me because it ends up leaving totes that are nearly empty, and then they have a tendency to overfill the line. The line's only supposed to have, as I've gotten really fond of saying in Spanish, tres nomás, aquí nomás, as I point to the farthest back, you should have the meals. They're only supposed to be piled 3 high, and you don't want them like the last, like, roughly 3 inches of the little conveyor like area where you put them in the rack. You don't want them there, because if the person who's picking pushes on them at all, trying to sort them in their front end, or while they're picking them, they need to push them back a little bit to get one out. If they have them piled farther back than that, then they go flying off the back end of the line and hit the floor, at which point they're not supposed to be sold. I do see people pick them up off the floor and put them right back in the line. I try and catch them, but it's a very frustrating thing, and it's not that hard. Just don't put them back that far. And I don't know why people feel compelled to overfill those when those are the meals that don't sell very fast. But yet, at the same token, they can't be bothered to stay on top of the meals that do sell fast. It's just super, super, super frustrating to me. Now, if I'm by myself, I can put my focus on the meals that go really fast that are in the bins and just be and then I quickly will memorize what they are. Like if I'm doing that, it takes me just about 2-3 minutes, and I've memorized where they are, not even their numbers. And that's the thing that Sherry, what's the number? What's the number? What's the number? I don't give a fuck about a number. It's fucking garlic herb chicken. Well, but what's the number? Why does it matter? It's garlic herb chicken. Like, why can't you remember the number? Why can't you remember the name of the meal? Do you want me to call you Sherry, or do you want me to call you by your age? Because I could call you I could call you 56, but that seems kind of rude. But yeah, I remember names and locations. I'm good at remembering names and locations. That's how I am with streets. Like, I'm on McDowell. It's right here. I know where it is. I know where it goes. Same thing with the meals. I'll remember where they're at and where they go on the line. And the whole thing is they're looking for a number on the line. I'm not even looking for the number. Now but I pay attention to the bay number. Nobody else seems to notice that the bays have numbers. But I'll remember physically where they go and where they're coming from, and then I'll be able to replenish those super, super fast once I get it in my head. And then the other ones, I wait until they're about empty to the point where there's maybe only 30% of the space that can be filled with meals there, and then that's when I replenish it. But when I'm doing it that's when I know I can put an entire tote of meals in there. But it's frustrating to me when it's like I let it get down to that and I go and there's only like 4 meals in the tote because people were doing laps, just putting a couple meals in at a time. It's fucking frustrating. But anyway, so I find the one gal, she's there, she's struggling. And if somebody's struggling like that, like I can typically come in. At that point, they're moving so slow that I don't even worry about what they're doing. I'll just catch everything up to the point where nothing is particularly low. But I don't try to fill and overfill the line either with the individual meals. Like I just, like whatever's in the tote, I fill it in there. As long as all of them are past halfway, and then all the ones that are in totes are replaced and all the ice is there, like that line is good. That person can do their best at keeping up, and it's on the lead of that line to realize, hey, whoever you got back here is struggling. Like I just saved your line, but get on top of that. And so many of the leads just don't. I don't get what the leads do, to be honest. Although, to be fair, like they're kind of putting out fires around the building the same way I am, as far as like trying to find missing meals and trying to get on top of things that are add-ons that are missing or whatever. But I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like they're standing and looking. I wonder what this is.
Hello team, we still have VAR available for 7.18. Sign up here https formsgo/4nt5lzs5ht6ming17 must receive approval text to come in.
It's so weird how the car reads those. Anyway, they did say the 18th, so that would be Friday. I work Friday anyway. Yeah, the days that they're always have extra hours available on the days I'm already working. To be fair, I was scheduled for extra hours yesterday in the kitchen. I actually ended up, in hindsight, taking the night off and I did finally figure out how to check what hours I have available without using the stupid app that I can never get logged into. And I put paid time off on my hours. So I'm not going to get paid my overtime hours, but at least I'm going to get some more money for it. And it just seemed like the most sensible way for me to do it. I had quite a bit of PTO that I'd accumulated. I didn't realize I'd accumulated, but I just couldn't go into work yesterday. Yesterday I was in such a bad headspace from all the shit that had happened the night before and not getting much sleep. And I just really needed to deal with the bends because day before, Lon was blowing up my phone. I guess the city's back to harassing him about it being there because it doesn't have valid plates, blah, blah, blah. I got a 3-day temporary tag on it right now. And I did find so I went to the European place, beautiful dark Sonia, and we chatted for a while. She gave me the number of the manager. His name was Omar. I talked to him on the phone. He said, send me pictures and I'll get a hold of the owner. Omar never responded to me via text. I'm just going to take that as a no, they're not interested, but kind of frustrating. At least write me back and say, no, he's not interested. Leave me hanging. But Rob said his guy can get it today. I don't know. Rob's just so consistently let me down with stuff like that. I'm just worried about it not getting done. But yeah, I was so focused on dealing with that, and also dealing with how my tire light and tire thing kept blinking in the dashboard. And I'm not sure if I really captured any images of that in the time it's been doing it. But I need to be turning left here. Yeah, I just missed the light. I might as well stay in this lane. Turn left at 46th. Anyway, oh yeah, the spa business gone now. So many businesses that have been around for so long out of business now because the economy is just not what it was. People are struggling to, pay for essentials because there's no money for buying luxuries like spas anymore. Anyway, yeah. So, sorry, I'm skipping all over the story and backwards and forwards. Is probably not making a lot of sense, but yeah, we're great with Sherry. Like, so I get behind the line. The one gal I was working with, like, she was struggling. I thought I'd just catch it up really quick, and then somebody came and grabbed her. I never saw her the rest of the night, so I don't know what that was about. All I know is that when that happened, it left me alone there, like completely alone. Well, I'm not going to leave the line. Like, at that point, I'm absolutely always holding that line together. I mean, I could have. It's not my assigned line, but it's just not really in me to just walk away from it and let that line grind to a halt because nobody's replenishing it when I'm there and I'm aware of it and I'm working on it, And plus, I was determined to see if the way I thought I could do it in my head by myself would genuinely work, and of course it did. So anyway, I'm flying away at that. Well, at one point Sherry comes by and she goes, so this is where you are. I said, I'm the only one back here. She goes, is anybody replenishing? I said, I don't think so. I said, it's just been me for like 20, 30 minutes. And she's like, well, do you want me to help you and replenish? And I'm like, please, can you get, and I mentioned a couple meals. And of course, it was kind of nice. She was actually following my direction, and I don't feel like I need to boss Sherry around. I'm not about that. But, but yeah, like, you can walk down the line and see which meals are missing, but if you listen to me, I'll tell you, like, I'm really good at just running numbers and simulations in my head and watching patterns and recognizing and analyzing patterns and at the rate things are going, like, I know what meal number is going to run out next by how quickly I'm replenishing everything. And so if I say, like, I need this number and this number, there may be another number that I'm out of, but I know that there's enough in the rack and that it's moving stupid slow, and that might be, and this stuff's in the rack might last it the rest of the night. Like, it doesn't matter that it's out in the stock area. Like, in the event that actually runs out, I can run and grab that shit myself. It's not that important of a meal. It's not moving that fast. But the ones that are in the racks, and I'm putting a whole rack in every few minutes, couple of minutes, whatever, like those, and that's out. I need that. And she was actually following my lead on that, and it was great. And we're really wildly together. And it looked like it was going to be like that with her and I yesterday on line 8, or not yesterday, but the day before. Oh, there it actually shows it's weird. It won't let me read it. Like, it'll read it for me, but it won't let me read it. Places not available while driving. I gotta stop to see it. Like, they're worried that that'll take my eyes off the road, but yet I can do all this stuff with the navigation and all this stuff with the media while I'm driving, and, like, that's okay. I can't make any of that make sense. But to actually see the text of a text, is the designers of the software are worried that's too much of a distraction. It's pretty stupid. Anyway, yeah, anyway, we finally got into it. And what really, so the other night when we were working together, it would have been Sunday night, Like, and it was working so good. And we finished off the line, just her and I as a team, and line 9, and we absolutely kicked ass. It was just her and I. And afterwards, we walked and told Rob about it just to make him aware. It's like, hey, Rob, by the way, I don't know if you noticed. The guys at shipping definitely noticed. They're just like, holy shit, you're kicking ass back there. It's it's amazing how much faster I can do this when I don't have a whole bunch of idiots that don't know how to read in my damn way. Constantly standing in my way trying to remember where the meal goes when they can't seem to memorize that shit, and they're looking for a number because they can't read the words smoked garlic chicken, and then on top of that they're I was walking around moving a couple meals at a time just in my damn way, bottom line. And then when I am ready to actually replenish something, if they do miss one long enough for me to actually be worth my while, I go and grab a tote and there's like 4 meals in it. It's frustrating as fuck. Or I grab a tote and it's empty. That even happens. So weird. My Benz is going to be gone. It's the end of an era, but I haven't drove this thing since like 2020. Went to the DMV about it yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, we've had it marked as disabled since 2020." I said, "Yeah, that sounds about right." That used to be such a fun car. I used to really love this car, and it's all dirty again. But hey, it has a brand new fucking temporary tag on it. The old license plate I keep. That's my license plate. For those who don't know, license plates are not attached to cars; they're attached to people. So that's my plate. So when I sell it, the plate stays with me. Yeah, I've had 2 door panels in here that I brought from my storage that I thought were for this, and they're apparently for my Honda. But yeah, it's so trashed inside here. But I did go through and clean most of it out. There were 2 COVID masks hanging from my rearview mirror, and when I touched them, they just disintegrated into like blue fiber dust. You see it all in there. It's so gross. Just that paper, the sun and the heat had just disintegrated. I mean, we're talking like 5 years now since that was a thing. Over 5 years. And I still got some trash in here I need to clean out, but I got most of it cleaned out yesterday. I was just getting so dirty and sweaty doing it. Found a really nice hairbrush in there. That was a good thing. Anyway, back to the Sherry thing. Yeah, we're working together, and so and at that point, like, I'm kind of getting a little flirty with her, and she starts telling me some personal stuff. I don't want to go into all of it, but she did say something about that her husband is constantly gone because he's cheating on her, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. And I told her a line that Lily's mom used to always tell me. It's like, well, best way to what she used to always tell me is the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. So even though Sherry's a good solid year and a half older than me, which I was surprised. I thought she was younger than me. I didn't think she was much younger than me, but I figured she was a little younger than me. But no, year and a half older. She also told me that at 55 I qualify for a senior discount on like a senior day. She said this Wednesday at Fry's grocery store, which is a weirdness. The thought of me getting senior discounts just seems crazy to me. You're so weird, Nugget. You're so weird. You're so weird. What are you doing? So yeah, we're kind of flirting. I was kind of hoping I'd get her to roll around with me in the car, but then it didn't happen. But whatever. Yeah, like the next day, since I don't know, there's just things she's doing that are counterproductive. Like one of the things that meal runners do, and she's one of them that does it, is what they call topping off. And it's when they take the rack of meals that is stored behind a line or 2 lines, and they roll it to the food stock area. And then they put more crates on top of it and roll it back, which to me is just absolutely asinine. Like those 3, or however many are still on the dolly, need to stay behind the line should I need to replenish it. Plus for me, like when I see that space is empty, even if I'm replenishing, I'm likely to stop replenishing if I think that the line's caught up long enough to go completely stock that item. So when I see it's gone, when in fact it's not gone, there were 3 things, but for some reason you've thought it was intelligent to take it away from where it goes and take it there. It's like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. You're taking the meals away from where they're going. You're taking them the wrong fucking direction. You're taking them away from where they need to be. You're sending the wrong signal to people that have to interpret what to do by what's there. And then when you're coming back, like say there's 3 on there and you stack 4 on it to 7. All right, you made that trip with only 4 racks of meals when you should be coming back with 7 racks of meals. Like, if you've got 2 things that need topped off, one needs 3 and one needs 2 and another one needs 2. Okay, well, there's a total of 7. So grab a rack, get 3 of the one, 2 of the other one, and 2 of the other one, throw it on the rack, and then when you get back, throw it on top of the ones that are there. That way you do all that in one run. Instead of 3 trips, you can do it in 1 trip. And one time she said, well, I'm doing it that way because I can't find any empty racks. And at the time, that was a pretty valid complaint. That was pretty valid. I had to give that to her because there was a problem. And that's still a problem sometimes. And people will take the food that's on, there's only 1 or 2 meals on a rack. They'll take and pull the rack out from under and put the food on the floor, which is just, I can't seem to get people to stop doing that. But, and it's usually the guys doing ice. It's like, you know what? Your ice is not that important. Like if you're doing ice, like you're not, like I don't know how to get it through those people's heads, because I swear to God, the people that do ice all have super low IQs. And it's like, what you're doing is not that important. Plus you're paid by the hour. Fucking take your time, wander around the building and find some empty ones that are not in use. Don't take food off of them. Like if it's holding food up 6 inches off the ground to be in compliance with health codes, like that's the most important thing that rack can be doing. The ice is not that important. If you can't find racks, grab a pallet and start piling on top of it. But the guys that do ice are just so fucking dumb. Like they just can't self-direct like that. And God knows they won't take direction from me because you're not my boss. Should have one guy threaten to fucking take me outside and kick my ass over some stupid shit. I'm just like, are you threatening me? Just got to get this clear. Are you threatening me? Because if you are, you want to make sure that we've established that. Because you can go the fuck home. Have security bounce you right the fuck out. He cooled his jets when I said it like that. And I'm sure he's thinking in my head, fucking snitch. Well, dude, don't do things worth being snitched on. This is a workplace. Like, you're opening boxes of ice. You couldn't be less important. Anyway. Yeah, Sherry anyways, pissing me off doing the fucking whole topping off thing. And she's like, well, it hurts my back, blah, 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 blah. And then she's constantly like, who's stealing the meals? Somebody's stealing meal 50. Somebody's stealing meal 50. I'm like, so what if they are? Like, you're paid by the hour. Just go get more. Well, it's my hard work, and they're taking my hard work away. What do you fucking do? You're paid by the hour. Well, I don't want to do it. I said, well, if you'll stay here and replenish, I'll go do it. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And at that point, I don't think anybody was taking it. We were going through meal 50 like crazy. It's some kind of barbecue chicken, and it's very popular. And I'm like, about every 5th or 6th move, there's mine. That needs to be in the car. About every 5th or sixth move, I'm putting another bin of meal 50 in. So yeah, I go through 7 of those pretty damn quick. And by the time I go through 5 of them, like probably since that particular one, you've got to build it. And by building it, I mean, it's not already a pallet of meals in totes. Like it's meals in giant, I don't know what the hell you call them. They're like pallet crate things. And like pallet crate things. And you got to, I'm blocking my camera, go me. So you've got to bring empty totes and then fold them and fill them and stack them. I notice some people really struggle with doing that. I do it reasonably quickly at this point. 18 is the perfect amount to put in a rack. Generally speaking, they're supposed to hold 16, but you can put 2 in the sideways, and they fit perfectly. So I always do them facing perfectly in exactly the same direction, because that's just how obsessive I am with things being consistent. And I know what I'm picking, which I never pick anymore, but when I am, it made a difference to me for them to all be facing the same direction. And I would always turn all the ones in my bin to face the same direction as I was picking, but it would be certainly nicer if they were already in the same direction. I didn't have to. I don't understand why people don't want to consistently face things in the same direction. I mean, I like my dollar bills faced, for God's sake. But anyway, but so I do take a little bit longer sometimes, because I do face them all in the same direction as I'm bending them up. But yeah, I grab even piles of 4 that are facing the same direction, put it in. 4 piles of 4, put the 2 in the end. Unfold a rack, put it on top of it, and, fill 7 of them out the door. Although sometimes, not out the door, but, back to the line. Now, sometimes I might not do a stack, but as fast as 50 was going, if I go over to 50, I was probably doing, 7 of 50. Because even if I walked away and there was 2, I expected those 2 to be gone by the time I got back, and they usually were. But yeah, Sherry keeps constantly freaking out. They're stealing our food. Don't let them steal our food. The fuck difference? It's not our food. Well, some of the other people are grabbing it because they're too lazy to bend it up themselves. Maybe. So fucking what? I mean, and to be fair, it could be somebody that's replenishing on line 7 and 9, or on lines 6 and 7, which is right across the walkway from where the food is stored on line 8 where we were. So if that person is completely out of meal 50, and the runner hasn't brought them any, and they're the only one back there replenishing, I would probably grab a single thing of meal 50. I wouldn't grab all of them, but I would grab a single thing of meal 50 from line 8 as well. That's the quickest way to stop the line from getting stopped, from stopping. When it stops, that's when the problem is. That's the quickest way to stop it from stopping, and then at that point, go build a tower. Anyway, she keeps freaking out, and I just finally was just like, where she really pushed it over the edge, though. At one point, she goes, "Well, you're being so ridiculous. You're just not accommodating." Because I would have things organized the way I liked them while I'm replenishing. Mind you, I'm replenishing by myself. So I'm doing a job that's typically done by 3 people by myself. And I'm doing it more efficiently by myself than when there's 3 people doing it. But in order for me to do it that efficiently, I really need to have everything in its right place. And I'd have the empty dollies. I like to have 1 on every bay. But if there's more the more the better, just doesn't bother me. Because where there's too many, I stack them up and roll them out the way. But she'd keep taking more away than I wanted her to take. Just fucking pissing me the fuck out. Just stop. Just go. Obviously, if you need one to put meals on, grab one. But why are you taking them all? I have one at every bay just the way I like it. Well, you don't need them like that. Bitch, who are you to decide what the fuck I need? I need you bent over. Hello. Anyway, she finally she had the nerve to say something. Well, you're just not accommodating. That's why you don't have a girlfriend. Or that's why you can't get a girlfriend. And that just crossed the line. I just snapped. I'm just like, fuck you. I'm done. And I went to leadership. And one of them actually said, you should report that to HR. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to fucking deal with HR. I said, I just don't want to deal with Sherry. It's like this is what she's doing, and this is what I need her to do. She just needs to shut the fuck up and stop bitching. If she's going to replenish, then she needs to replenish. And if she's going to, whatever, she just needs to just shut. I just need her to shut her fucking mouth. Just need her to quit fucking running her yap, because it's pissing me off. And to say something about, and of course I probably went a little over the edge. I said, saying that's why I can't get a girlfriend. I said, I can't get a girlfriend because my my ex-wife committed suicide, and I'm still really mentally fucked up over that. And which of course made the manager, I said that to her, eyes got big. She's like, okay, yeah, I can see where that would have somebody pretty mentally fucked up. So anyway, super tired because of Denny's. I met somebody I've been kind of becoming like really good friends with, although it's awkward with him and I. His name's Cliff. He's a couple of years older than me. Really cool dude. Owns a pretty nice house in a okay neighborhood. More or less what I'm like thinking of as a dream house, and him and I just totally clicked at Denny's. I wasn't even planning on going to Denny's. Like I said, I've got this guy, I can't remember his name at work. He usually does ice. Oh, the irony. But yeah, he lives at like basically 17th Avenue and Camelback. And that's a long ride and long, expensive ride in a Lyft or an Uber, but he does it. I can't imagine spending that much on transportation to go to a job like Factor. I mean, because after what he's spending for transportation, he'd be making more money if he was working at a fast food place or a grocery store that is walking distance to his place. So, I mean, that's a lot of money spent on rideshare. But he's been asking if I can give him a ride. I'm like, yeah, it's no problem. I mean, I'm already going all the way back, from Litchfield Road to the stack, to I-17 on I-10. Like, I'm going to do that drive by myself anyway. So it's not that big deal to drive a couple miles north on I-17 and drop them off. But that has me coming across. Basically, it has me dropping him off, and then I'm at like 19th Avenue and Camelback, as to my usual of like taking I-17 south and hopping off at Jefferson and going by to see if the charger where I started this video is in use. So from there, like, sometimes I like when I drop him off, I'll usually check ChargePoint to see if that charger's in use. If it's in use, it just makes no sense for me to drive all the way down there, because suddenly it's not on the way. It's kind of out of the way from there. And there's, I don't know, sometimes I've been going to the one over at Artistic Dental, which they did finally put signs up that says for customer use only. But like, who's there to know or care at 4 a.m, right? I never stay there for very long. I stay there long enough to look at some stuff on my phone and maybe raise my battery percentage like 5-10%. But 5-10% is 5-10%. I'll take it. But anyway, I dropped him off at home. At that point, I really had to go to the bathroom. And that's an issue. There's, and it's all over the United States. Like, there's a very major shortage, especially late at night, of available public restrooms. And it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate because homeless people, a lot of other people as well, just have a tendency to just really trash available public restrooms and destroy them, and sometimes even like camp in them and do drugs in them. So like, I understand why there's nobody wants to make public restrooms available, but on the same token, like everybody poops, and sometimes I need to as well. So it's like, well, fuck it. There's the gay Denny's there at 7th Street in Camelback. So I end up going over there, and that's for customers only. So, I shouldn't just be walking in there using the bathroom and just walking out. I mean, I've done it before, but I may as well stop and get something to eat. They no longer have their value menu. That value menu didn't last very long. But so I park at the level 2 ChargePoint charger over at Earnhardt Lexus. That was the one I couldn't remember the name of when I was on the phone with the chick with the strong Indian accent. I couldn't remember the last ChargePoint charger that I used where I couldn't get my key fob to work. Can't believe they said it's $8 to replace that stupid thing. It's irritating. I mean, it's not like it's a lot of money, but most credit card companies will replace a card that's not working for free. They want $8 to replace the one that's not working. I mean, granted, the one I have had like 6-7 months, but still. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if I'll pay it on to see how it continues to work or not work. Because I did get it to work yesterday, but I couldn't get it to work this morning. But yeah, when I went to Earnhardt, that's where it was. Earnhardt Lexus. I couldn't get it to work, which is fine. I can start the Earnhardt Lexus charge my charger in the ChargePoint app, which I did. And it's like less than a block away from Denny's. Just basically walk through the Walgreens parking lot and then cross 7th Street to a Denny's. And I go there, and this dude's sitting by himself at the counter, not to be confused with the booths or the tables, but the counter. And because that particular Denny's is laid out more like an old school diner, has counter seating for people who are dining alone or just like two friends or something. And so he sits there. I end up sitting like not right next to him, but kind of next to him, but I think across like the little walkway that goes to the area, the area where the servers are. And I just happen to, as I sit down, notice that like they're having this conversation about how electric cars just absolutely accelerate and are so much faster than gas cars that people think of as fast. So of course I'm jumping in on that conversation. Like, I drive an EV6 all-wheel drive. Yeah, tell me about it. Like, I have a car that accelerates faster than, the Ferrari Testarossa that I dreamed about having as a teenager. So it's pretty wild, and a lot of people don't realize electric cars accelerate like that. But yeah, he was talking about like a dual motor Tesla Model X, and I'm just like, oh yeah, or maybe a high performance or whatever. But I'm just like, oh yeah. I said, yeah, I experience that every day. I said, I gotta, and said what kind of car I have, and I just end up getting in like in sometimes I'll do that, and people look at me like, why are you putting in on this conversation? But I was like, whatever. They give me that look. I just kind of go back to my own zone. But yeah, I just like got in the conversation, and him and I got talking, and anyway, so that's Cliff. And about 30 minutes into, and I ordered food and sitting there, and that's when the pressure washer truck exploded. But I thought something had wrecked into the building. It was scary. So much black smoke everywhere, and it just sounded like it was just this explosion. And then something hit the building. I thought it was coming through the building. I jumped right the fuck up. It scared the hell out of me. It was pretty wild. But yeah, I ended up hanging out there for quite a while. Got a pretty substantial charge. Just because I was there so long. Because it's not like the charger at Earnhardt Lexus is particularly fast. I think it only charges like 7 kilowatts. But I was there for like over 2 hours. Like Cliff and I were just talking about all kinds of things, like music and cars and electric cars and electronics and audio video stuff. And he like was asking me, what I had for equipment. It's like, well, what, so you use components? I said, yeah. He said, well, what amps do you have? So I'm start telling him specifically like what amps I have in the system that's, here in the bedroom. And tell him about that amp right there, and the one I have in the living room, and the one in the kitchen. I didn't even mention the stuff in Lily's room. I don't even remember what the fuck's in Lily's room at this point. I don't think most of that's even connected at the moment. But at any rate, like I'm in, he's talking about what he has and stuff that he had when he was younger, and I mean, him and I just clicked. Anyway, he offers to give me a ride back to my car. Not that it's not walking distance. He offers to give me a ride back to my car. So hell yeah, I'm going to take it. And he drives like a really nice, just a few-year-old Mustang convertible. So that was pretty badass. Although I already told him about how like I'm mildly autistic, so like this moving air kind of freaks me out. Like that's something I really didn't like about the Tesla, is how if I turn it on and it's blowing air at me and it's bothering me, like it's so much fucking bullshit I got to do on the touchscreen just to get the vent to not blow at me, as opposed to just reaching the vent and making the air go another direction or closing it, And it ends up being this whole touchscreen click, 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 swipe, tap, tap, tap bullshit, which is like almost everything on a Tesla. But I don't like Teslas. I chose not to get a Tesla. Anyway, it's like, oh, you're going to hate my car. I'm like, nah, it's fine. I said, but yeah, you're right. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time riding in a convertible. I said, I absolutely detest the feeling of wind in my hair. But yeah, we just rode over my car, and he's checking it out, and it's like, well, you want to go for a ride? It's kind of a rush. And we must have rode around for like 30 minutes just driving in loops around the neighborhood. And he seemed he's just like super impressed by it. just funny. Other people are just like not only unimpressed, but not interested in going for a ride with me. So that was a really good time for me. Anyway, him and I really hit it off. But yeah, it ended up, causing me to get to sleep a whole lot later than normal. So I was tired. Last night I worked Monday night. Monday night, early Tuesday morning. So yeah, so being tired, of course, I was probably, a little more on edge and crabbier than normal. So Sherry made that comment about, well, that's why you don't have a girlfriend. That just kind of pushed me over the edge, and it did. And I'm just like, I'm at my limit for how long I can sit here and listen to fucking her bitch, and then she's gonna take it that personal. Said, I said I didn't say anything. I just walked over here. I said, I'm done. I've had enough. I said, but it's like inside, part of me wanted to say, well, maybe that's. I said, you bitch a lot. That's probably why your husband's cheating on you. So I said to the supervisor, I said, I didn't say that back to her, but I tell you, that's what I'm kind of thinking. It's probably why her husband cheats on her, because she fucking doesn't know when to shut up. He probably doesn't want to fucking be around her. Anyway, yeah. They're like, well, she said, do you really need to go? I said, no, I'm fine to keep working. I just can't put up with her fucking running her mouth anymore. I'm over it. She's got me to the point I'm really upset right now. So you can report it to HR. I'm like, I don't want to report it to HR. And it's like, well, we'll just move her. And they did. And Tina was leading the line, and Tina's technically not a lead, but I like Tina. Tina was just like, she's like, yeah, she's pissed off everybody. Everybody that was working behind there with you guys left. And I think it's because she pissed them off. And maybe not. Maybe Tina pissed them off. I don't know. Maybe I pissed them off. But yeah, there were like 3 other people that were working there with us behind, and it had dwindled down to just me and Sherry, which I'm fine. Like, I personally prefer to replenish a single line 100% by myself. But the person that's doing the running needs to actually do the running and stay the fuck out of my space and quit grabbing my stuff, and definitely do not be grabbing meals that I have behind me to quote unquote top them off. Fuck that. Do you need a dolly? Like, here's a dolly. Oh, well, I can't be bending over like that because I'm old and it hurts. Blah, blah, blah. I see you do it all the time. Who's stealing our food? Nobody is. Like, why are you worried about that? What the fuck difference does it make? Stupid. Anyway, they moved her. We did not have another word. Every time we got close enough together to maybe say anything, I just turned the other way, deliberately ignored her. So, still distracted by her when she bends over. Yes, I am. So yeah, I left kind of upset. Did give that other guy the guy who does ice, whose name I can't remember, gave him a ride home. I think after that I went to Artistic Dental, and by then I was just so exhausted I fell asleep charging at Artistic Dental. Woke up, came home. By then I had a headache, and right as I was almost asleep, this is when Lon started blowing up my phone about the bends. I ended up just going as far as actually turning my phone off, because I just did not want to talk to Lon. Did not want to send a text message something. Hey, when you wake up, call me. I talk to you about your car. And I figured that's what it was, but I don't want to deal with it. I'm over it. Anyway, God, an hour and 23 minutes. I need to shut the fuck up and go deal with my bends. That's what's up. I feel like I only barely scratched the surface. I still didn't get into a whole lot of what had me so upset with. And it wasn't about Cliff. In fact, I think Cliff didn't like this. I don't know. I thought we were going to double team this big girl. But yeah, she wanted a whole lot of Cliff and just didn't want any part of me, and went as far as like kind of rubbing herself and going, yeah, this isn't for you. And the frustrating thing is 5 years ago, I wouldn't even care. I've been like, I would have been. Oh, while speaking to Cliff, that's him calling. I think I want to answer this. Thanks for listening.